Satanophany innocent dagger. Based on the Yamada Yoshinobu manga. Confines so metal, looking from outside it would be a VAB, a French-constructed armored vehicle, rolling along the road. The occupants buffeted slightly, inside the girl looks quite harmless sporting the daylight personality, sharing the confines are several men dressed in fatigues and Fama's rifle armed, could be forgiven if mistook for soldiers. We wouldn't be made for this job if we dropped the ball. You're our precious charge assures Murida. Chika Amiga's physical traits are slim yet shapely bust, age 17, hair is long, straight and jet black, strands on her forehead, smaller than all the men. She not unhappy or uneasy, but a curiosity to the youthful face. I don't get why soldiers have to escort little me. A student. Don't worry that little head of yours. See this is all so strange. You got to understand. The girl is told pretty dull conversation if nothing in her stomach and offered a whole wheat turkey sandwich, complete with a cup of juice. The girl responds not particularly full and watching her weight. Chika is told she ate plenty without regret, no food was safe. The girl takes them from his hand. An eye of his narrows slyly. Their ride comes to a stop, the engine shuts off. Several hundred yards distant stood a compound, the man suggests she go greet them. Stepping out into daytime Chika stands barely 5 feet high. Her casual clothes superseded by a dress. Honest to God white bridal gown, sleeves cover the arms whole, its lower half an ever-widening skirt, adorning her head a tiara. Inhaling the outdoors again, starts walking, her arms holding up the skirt. Thought nothing of changing in front us grown men when you down that juice. The dress you switch. The leader gets on the VAB's radio, bride is on target, over. Closer the girl got easier to make out armed men. In short order one emerged from the guardhouse at the gate, on his shoulder patch, like all the rest embroidered is Itsubishi Industries. A guard tower looms above. The girl stands, hands behind the back. He questions this odd sight, the girl speaks in a normal tone answering, see Mr. Folk sent me on an errand. The guard's eyes bulge. Missy I can't make heads or tails of you. Then suddenly in a savage tone, strange. When I'm here to waste y'all. In a flash each ear has a blade piercing deep, blood seeps out. Stabs simultaneously with the 2 knives Chika hid behind her. Of a kind wielded by the Russian called Katyurasatorigiva. The going-ons are seen through Murida's binoculars, his body is half though the top hatch. On the radio announces, the murder bride is in play. The murder experiment has begun. The bride pushes the heavy gate open with one hand, suggesting high strength. She steps onto the compound. Her weapons load out a small blade per hand. In a word, inhuman. Bullets began flying from the men's Mark 14 enhanced battle rifles, heavy firepower. Despite this she's blistering. Reflexes and agility exceed any person's, ran tens of miles per hour like a cheetah, but faster, closing the distance to any man in sight for the kill. Slashed a carotid artery, eviscerates a belly so guts spill. With great rapidity plunges a blade into a man's chest and the back in unison, then before he falls appropriates his rifle, aims high at the guard tower, firing a quick burst at someone concealed behind structure out of sight, the bullets perforate well enough, blood escapes. Stopped with throwing the spinning weapon at another man 30 feet away, finally reclaiming her blades before the gun had time to finally smash the distant guard. Back at the Vehicule de l'Avant-Blind, the leader is in conversation with someone who can be none other than the young female doctor, judging by that disembodied voice. The chief. The bride pulls evasive maneuvers like the world's deadliest acrobat, plus steadily closing on individual targets for close-in kills. Different personality, that innocent one was yesterday, more than that tossed in the bin, now an all-consuming desolating wind scorning the value of life, inhuman less in physical prowess than mentality. Shoot like girls. She taunts. Leader on the radio again, from conversation with the doctor, he and his men were to fight too, instead only reports on the rampage. His tone is semi-comical and sly, the day will be over before you guys jump in decries the impatient doctor. We need more time doc. Except it ran out on you. Comes the agitated voice. You were bestowed an armored troop carrier, so you fellas needn't fear some puny guns. Don't forget your role in all this commander, support Chika in combat. We will not be bereft of vital subject. Oh. Death and White's on to her next guinea pig. Safely unseen smirks. Murderous face in glee, kick the legs out one guard before he can hit the ground, pierced in the heart simultaneously with both blades. Speeds to another to stab both eyes. Bigger at dick, quicker at death. Few girls in the history of Earth mock well killing. There is not one sound, the cacophony is too many to count. A freaking M14 on rapid fire behind, its gunner sweeping in a sideways motion shooting from the hip. The small girl's face is startled, zips out from the lethal arc that mini-engagement lasted 3 seconds. Amiga kept racing till vanishing round the building's corner. Roughly 10 men breathe, emotions anger and shock. Her cute face pokes out after several seconds and perhaps unsurprisingly blow a raspberry at them with the tongue and disappears. Early puts Riddick and Navy SEALs to shame, comments Murda. Her pursuers split. One is looking around standing. Yahoo! Comes a yell. Looking up, last he sees is a bride gown in mid-air from the roof. He has 2 blades in the throat. She has mounted the supine fellow. Joking, turns her head to a non-existent camera to break the 4th wall, asking if her undergarments were victim to a peeping Tom. Further along, another guard opens fire at a charging girl. Not straight ahead, tactical acumen is to zigzag at super speed and close in. Perplexed was the safest word for his countenance. The target disappeared when it was to the front. Thoughts are interrupted by a tap from behind. Whipping around, nothing. A hand grabs his throat from behind. In both cases moved faster than the eye can follow. Repeatedly is stabbed in the back, tickle, 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 tickle. More bodies are strewn about the place a while later. Lucky number 20, the commander radios. His binoculars pick up a scene. Wasn't the 19 bodies. Chika mounted another supine fellow, blade at the throat. He stares at a panting woman in despair. Brain vaguely registered a light body was astride his own. In a while removes the blade and drops both, her panting ceased, mind back to normalcy. Saying in her sane original tone. Dude, it was a workout for me. Shouldn't have wasted your pals. What happened shouldn't have. I let you walk. His visage in doubt. I'm too tired. Wanna walk? He nods. Her crazed tone returns, that's what a dick wants me to say. Grips his throat by both hands, choking, whilst banging his head upon the ground madly. No longer at the hatch but within the VAB's depths. Was safer behind steel, smirks the commander, giving his companions a salute. Driver, mosey on over, mind the red puddles. The engine comes to life. He radios to this not hidden partner, but overseer, targets engaged successfully. Adding, aren't enough superlatives. Immaculate murder tool, craziest girl alive, degree in murder. The medical practitioner understood the game had climaxed. Convinced Amiga did it all herself, didn't matter if assistance wasn't needed. Fear to call it letting you slide, but the fact we were successful means we can do business again. Tone a warning, once you don't trip in your own mire, trooper. Eyes burst open. Awoke sweaty in their quarters, deciding after contemplation wasn't the doc's drugs nor another murder game. Feels what made her do all that in the dream was juice that guy gave, because she turns killer at night, that craziness was daytime. I was a murder bride. The only way that dress switch would be worn. Stark reality comes about what's been done to them. The unjust sentence of murder, Chika slew 5 corrupt souls bent on gang rape in 2 minutes. Virtue ripped from girls in a prison made to kill each other in murder games she didn't understand for what. Knew the next one do, what sickness will they make her do again? Dreams have her a murdering beast as in her reality. The peculiar syndrome turns girls into the most savage of murderers. After trial are deposited to Haguro prison, where their unbridled kill lust blooms to new heights. Doctors tinker on minds, basing them on actual killers. Amagi's is Henry Lee Lucas. At night participate in murder games for scientific development. Knees bent upward, buried her face in her legs, sobbing.